Hello and welcome to the Cyber1 YouTube channel. My name is Ray, and in this video I'm going to do an unboxing of a hot air rework station. Now, I've used one very similar to this in the past. It is starting to play up a little bit, so I'm looking at replacing it. The major difference between this one and the previous one I've done or used is that this one has a 3 amp power supply built in, whereas the last one was a 2 amp. And I found the 2 amp was just that little bit too small for running servos and the like. So first thing to note is in the top of the box are a heap of tips for the soldering iron that comes with this. There's a lot of different tips in this. I think there's supposed to be 10 of them. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there is 10 of them. They're all different shapes and sizes for doing different jobs. Some are round with a bit of a chisel on it, like this one. This one looks like a screwdriver on the tip. I've seen hobby knives that look like this one. So I'll have to go through and pick my preferred tip. So I'll do that over the coming weeks as I play with it. I do have some soldering work to do coming up for a project. Move them aside. We have a single page operating instruction manual in English, and this thing says read the instruction manual before using. It's a single page, and this is more warnings and don't do's. Do not immerse in water. I can't imagine why not with 240 volts running through it. And then we have operating instructions. So this is this unit here, the 853D USB 3A. And the only difference between the other two models is the amps that the power supply can supply. So this unit is both a soldering iron, a hot air rework, and a 3 amp 15 volt adjustable power supply. Apparently you can switch between Fahrenheit and Celsius. I'll be running in Celsius. And this thing's got a buzzer in it. And references for the nozzles for the hot air, and a list of the tips and their shapes. Alright, let's put the manual aside and take the cover off. Alright, so we have hot air nozzle tips. It looks like a tool for holding things down with. It actually comes with multimeter leads. Now the last one that I got didn't, so this is actually a step up. Alright, so the last one came with one of these. This is the little station to put your soldering iron into, and comes with a tip cleaner. I've since learnt, don't try and remove the plastic. I learnt that the hard way. it actually forms part of the lid. So with this, just pull the cover off. It did actually come off easier than the last one. Right down the bottom of this is actually some rosin tip cleaning, which is very handy. We have a bracket to hold the hot air handle. So this mounts on the side of the station. Gives you somewhere handy to put that hot part down. This is the soldering iron itself. You can actually buy these as a spare part as well. I actually had it break inside there. Well, I suppose I would have had it 5-6 years before that failed, and it wasn't difficult to find a spare part online that just plugs in and works well. To change the tips over, undo this screw, and then you just take it off the ceramic cartridge, and that's the bit I broke in the last one. But that was my fault, not the machine's. If you use it the way it's designed to be used, you won't have any trouble with it. I was abusing it a little bit at the time, using it for plastic welding, which I shouldn't really be doing, but I was desperate and in a hurry at the time. So down the side here we have an IEC lead. This is the power cord to run the unit. Now the hot air wand, which is this one, my last one was black, this one's blue, just cool. Takes air in through the handle up here and exhausts it out the end at very high temperatures. I've had, I think, 300 degrees C coming out of it. I'd have to look at the manual to find out what the upper temperature limit is. Should be in the manual. Hot air rework up to 480 degrees C with a low end of 100, which is not a bad range. Brushless motor with smooth air delivery, and the previous one was actually pretty good. So let's pull the unit out, and that's it for the box. Okay, so on the side we've got the screw holes for the mount for the bracket. On the other side you can move the bracket to the other side if you choose to do so, and there's provision to mount other stuff on there as well. There's no mounting holes for the soldering iron, so you could actually add your own bracket if you wanted to. On the back we have a cooling fan, a power switch, and the supply in IEC, and it's also got a fuse on it. I believe the last one had a fuse, but I don't remember seeing the cooling fan. And bottom, nothing really to write home at. It's got a good carry handle, although I wouldn't carry it around all that much. And on the front, right, so with the auto manual, when in auto, when you store the wand on the bracket, it will drop it back down to low temperature and even turn it off until you're ready to use it. When you take it out of the handle, it'll turn itself on and start warming up again. Doesn't take long to get up to temperature either. The knob here controls the speed of the fan, so how fast the air is flowing, and the temperature is set on this display using the up and down buttons. This one's for the solder station, and you use these buttons to set the temperature up and down. The power supply, turn it on and set your voltage with the knob. You don't have a current limiter as such, so you can't set a current limit on this, so that's just something to be aware of. On here, it's a common ground or common 0 volt, and you can measure up to 35 volts DC between this point and this point, and the display will show you the voltage here. Looks like the voltage here, or the output voltage. I didn't really use this much for measuring voltages. I did use it a lot for testing with power. So I'm just going to, actually I'll put the holder on for the rework, the hot air gun. Nope, that's not right. That's better. My microphone turned off then. Okay, so let's get some power onto this. This is a IEC power lead I prepared earlier. Plug that in, turn it on. Now, when everything's turned off but power is onto the unit, it will flash dots across all of the displays to show you that it's in standby, and you've got a power LED down here that's turned on. So let's start with our voltage power supply. So we can set a voltage. I will check that against my multimeter later, make sure it's alright, and it will supply up to, it says 15 volt in the manual, this is saying 15.2, and if you push the button there, it's now reading across here. 5 volt USB, very handy for powering some projects. Now, over here we have our rework station. 300 says to me it's in Celsius already, and you can see the temperature on it. So this is now currently heating up. Oops, I got it out of. So that didn't take long to heat up. So I'm just going to turn that off because I don't need it on right at the moment. So with this, normally you would have it sitting in its holder, and when you turn it on, it's set for 300 degrees C. Take it out of its holder and it starts to warm up. And I can feel the air moving through it, drawing in through the holes in the handles, and it's now outputting 300 degree air. The speed, slow it down or speed it up. So depending on what you're doing. And you can adjust the temperature with these buttons. While it's flashing, that's the setting of the temperature. Your little flashing dot in the corner is actually the PID loop controlling the temperature. When you put it back into its holder, you can see it ramps down. So it's continuing to run the fan while it's turned the element off. And once it gets down to 100 degrees C, it turns off the fan. So, very straightforward. Let's grab a multimeter. I'm just going to turn that off. I don't want that accidentally running. So, this is my multimeter. And we'll put this in and see what our voltage is like. So the display is saying 3.3 volts, and I think that's pretty close. 9.4 on the display, again, very close. And 15.2, it's actually pretty accurate. 9.0, 1.9. You can't complain about that. That's, you know, it's well within its decimal place. So that's actually pretty good. So I'm going to give that a try over the next week or two, and we'll see how we go. So if you like these videos, don't forget to click on like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. If you'd like to support the channel further, I do have a Patreon account, and you can join my VIP GoLucky, my All Access Patron Jeff Jerde, my Builder Patrons Al Morales45, Andrew Cardone, Airgar69, and Stefan Papst in helping to support the channel. I also now have YouTube membership if you wish to join that way. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to leave a message in the comments or drop into my Discord. There'll be a link in the description, and leave your question there, and if I can't answer it, someone else might be able to as well. And we'll see you in the next video.